you may know there's certain myths that are being pushed on you to keep you in the rat race and enslaved to certain disciplines. But I'm here to dispel those myths for you.
Well guys, I'm a little bit late to the party. Today we are looking at a situation that has been all over the internet these last couple of weeks, and honestly, it's something that we all should have seen coming. Boogie2988, the infamous YouTuber, has recently gotten himself involved in a little bit of a crypto scam, as seems to be the trend with basically any influencer that has a not so great reputation on the internet. Boogie got himself involved in a shitcoin pump and dump scheme. Now, if none of those words right there meant anything to you, don't worry, I'm gonna try my best to explain what happened here. It's all gonna be very brief because I just find this situation kind of funny. This is not gonna be a deep dive kind of video, but I will do my best to give you a brief overview of what's going on here. So first of all, if you have no idea who Boogie is, you probably do, you just don't know it. He's got a lot of famous videos that went super viral in the earlier days of YouTube. He used to play this character called Francis. He used to go viral for these like fake rage videos. Basically all of his stuff. The punchline is that he's a pretty large fella. Now after a while, the general population of YouTube seemed to get sort of tired of video after video where the only joke is, hey, this guy is fat. So Boogie's relevancy started to taper off, and as is the case with many of the quote original YouTubers, his virality basically came to an end, and he started making videos for a more tighter knit community. Now if you're like me, then you probably forgot about the name Boogie2988 until sometime last year when you heard about the Boogie2988 documentary, an hour-long documentary made by Mike Klum which detailed the life of Boogie and exposed to the world what was really going on behind closed doors. It detailed his personal relationships, his health issues, and most importantly for this video, how he lost all of his life savings in crypto. If you want the full rundown, it's an extremely well-made documentary. I would recommend you give it a watch. Like I said, in this video, I'm barely gonna be scratching the surface. But the release of this documentary coupled with, his boxing match last year, sort of put Boogie back into the spotlight, and, well, that went about as smoothly as you would imagine. If you were keeping up with any of this while it was happening, or if you've just, ever watched a Boogie video in general, the guy is not the best at taking criticism, or responsibility, or, really anything that comes with being an adult. Victim mentality doesn't even really begin to describe it. At one point, he basically declared that he was leaving all of this drama behind, he was starting anew, he was starting fresh, and then, well, this happens. We get the Fatty coin, ladies and gentlemen. Last week, Boogie uploaded a video titled Fatty in which he endorses this shitcoin, in which he plays a very poorly crafted character which we now know he truly thought would absolve him of all responsibility for advertising a pump and dump scheme. Now, if you haven't seen this video yet, if you're not caught up with this situation, you might be thinking, what the fuck does that mean? Don't you worry, you're about to find out. Let's begin. Please subscribe.
Listen up, all you top G's. There's some misinformation being spread around right now by certain influencers. But I'm here to tell you the truth and the hacks to help you break free from the matrix so you can be a brokey like me. Now listen, you may know there's certain myths that are being pushed on you to keep you in the rat race and enslaved to certain disciplines. But I'm here to dispel those myths for you.
Okay, so if you have no idea what this video is supposed to be, it might be a little bit confusing on the first watch. So I'm going to try to give you some context to make it all make a little bit more sense. Like I said, this is a video advertising a cryptocurrency, but you'll notice that there's really not a whole lot of mention of any cryptocurrencies, and that's definitely on purpose. The companies that orchestrate these kind of things are very good at staying in that gray area. They know what to have their influencers say, they know what to include, they know what to keep out. So everything that Boogie says is kind of purposefully vague, and this is all to redirect people to a website where they get a lot more information. Now we're going to get into the character he's playing a lot more later, but basically he's doing a sort of parody of Andrew Tate, obviously, but they're flipping it on its head, and they're essentially having him say, if you buy this cryptocurrency, you're gonna lose all your money. That it's not worth it to try and chase money, it's not worth it to try and get wealthy. Just buy this cryptocurrency and lose all your money. That's kind of the gist of what they're saying here.
Number one, everyone thinks you have to have a perfect body, fit to stave off any attack. That's lies. This body wasn't by accident. If you don't have anything to steal and you don't look like a threat, then no one's going to attack you anyway.
Okay, so I'm gonna try really hard to not get sucked in too much by this video because I'm sure that it's all ironic, but part of me believes that Boogie might think there's some truth in what he's saying. If you don't look like a threat, nobody's gonna mess with you. Yeah, I think that might just be the opposite.
You see this body? This is what peak performance looks like, and it wasn't an accident. Do you have any idea how much discipline it took to create this body? Do you have any idea how many carbs you have to ingest to maintain this kind of mass? But it guarantees that when people look at me, they don't see a threat. Myth number 2. A man must build an empire to have any true worth. Haram! That is haram. True happiness comes from the simple things in life. An aquarium and a goldfish, 2 small dogs in a video game. That's real happiness. You don't know the pressures that comes with money. You got to determine what you're going to invest in, what you're going to buy. What would you buy? Ethereum? No. True freedom comes from being a wage slave. You don't want all of that pressure of trying to decide what color your Bugatti's gonna be, do you?
I just want to pause here for a moment and have everybody acknowledge, just for a second, that this is a 50-year-old man. I mean, that makes this infinitely worse, right? To be an individual who has lived 50 years on this planet, to sit down and think, yeah, this is a solid idea, I should do this, yeah, that might be the saddest part of all of this.
The myth number 3 is that if you are fit and you are rich, then you're going to have different beautiful women lining up for you every single night. Well, that's gay.
Again, just really want to hammer this one home. Don't know if everybody heard me. 50 years old. Yeah, halfway to 100. Just keep that in mind.
True happiness comes from one woman a couple of times a month. Little Andrew's out there needing consistent validation. Oh, love me, won't you love me tonight? Andrew, that's gay! True happiness is found by staying with the same woman, whenever she doesn't have a headache. And you know what gives her a headache? Competition anxiety. If I were rich and I were thin, she'd be afraid to stand next to me because other women would be looking. And I promise you, no other women are looking. Be a man! Make sure your woman feels secure by knowing you're not going anywhere. Now, Fatty is a community for like-minded individuals that have broken free from the matrix. True happiness comes from a goldfish, from the same woman a couple of nights a month, and the occasional meme coin. Fatty for life.
Okay, so that's basically the entire video. Like I said, very tiptoey skirting around what we're really promoting here. Calls it a like-minded community of people. Yeah, a like-minded community of people who like to lose their money in a virtual casino. Sure, we can call it that. But this was all to promote the Fatty coin, which we now know for certain, but pretty much everyone knew at the time of this upload, was a pump and dump scheme. Now, if you don't know what a pump and dump scheme is in very simple terms, a pump and dump scheme is when a bunch of people get together, buy a stock or a crypto coin at a cheap price, and then raise the price of that stock through methods of either spreading false information, doing stuff like this, getting an influencer to get the name of that coin or that stock in front of millions of people. Once a percentage of said millions of people invest into whatever these people are shilling, the price of the stock or the price of the crypto coin goes up, the puppet masters of the scheme sell off all of their holdings, which tanks the price, and all of the investors who raise the price of that stock or that crypto coin to make the people running the scheme all this money are left with a worthless investment. Now, obviously, pump and dump schemes are nothing new, but this one is a little unique because of this approach Boogie and this team have decided to take. They've taken the pretty common approach of getting a big influencer to advertise their coin, but they had the guy say, if you invest in this, you're going to lose all of your money. Which, in my opinion, there could not be a more appropriate way for Boogie to get involved in a pump and dump scheme. Because, of course, Boogie is going to go into something like this with with the mindset of how can I do this where I can technically have no responsibility for anybody losing any money. I mean, this could genuinely not be more on character for Boogie. The guy who is famous for never taking responsibility for any of the mistakes he ever makes is obviously only going to do something like this if he's able to do it in a way in which he can trick himself into believing he had no responsibility in what followed. It's absolutely perfect. Now, if you think that I'm assuming all of this, if you think I'm trying to read the guy's mind, no, this was genuinely his defense when he was called out for doing this. Let's take a look at a couple of his recent tweets. Now, after all of this happened, CoffeeZilla ripped him a new one. If you want a more in-depth dive on this situation, I would recommend giving this video a watch. But after that happened, Boogie released 2 apologies on Twitter, which for some reason he has since deleted. Since then, he has basically walked back everything he said in those apologies. Here are a few of my favorites. I spoke with CoffeeZilla tonight and he made it abundantly clear why I should back off of this whole bit in the crypto space. I always thought it was just going to be a goofy laugh and no one would actually get hurt. Thankfully, it appears no one actually did. But it's been made clear that the community does not want me in the crypto space, so I will leave it to other celebrities instead. Okay, first of all, to say that you thought this was just going to be a goofy laugh and you didn't think anyone would get hurt, come on, there's no chance that this guy did not know exactly what was going on here. He keeps bringing up the fact that he lost everything in crypto like that's somehow going to make this better. If anything, I would expect the guy who lost his entire life savings in crypto to be able to recognize exactly what a scheme like this is aiming to do. Like, let's not play stupid. Secondly, to pull the whole look down to the ground, twist your foot while saying, well, shucky wuckies, I guess nobody wants me here, in a space where you just promoted a scam is fucking insane. Again, 50 years old. How oblivious do you have to be to say some stupid shit like this? This is like getting busted for doping in sports or hacking in esports. Anything like that where you actively attack the integrity of any sort of established system, no shit they don't want you there. To make this a boo-hoo moment for you, that's insane. And some of the replies he posted under this tweet are even worse. One guy said, thank God nobody made the mistake of trusting you this time, and Boogie's response was, I mean, it was pretty obvious that they wouldn't buy the coin from the guy who went broke on crypto, and that was the joke. But yeah, thank gosh most people got the joke. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of being a kid. Okay, that makes it sound like I had a really fucked up childhood, but let me explain. I used to run a scam on RuneScape on my friends. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not proud of it, but I did. It was a stupid fucking scam, and it only worked because we were children, but I had 2 friends who played RuneScape with me all the time, and we would do this thing where we competed to see who could make the most money in a day. And we would bet GP on ourselves, saying we would make the most money. And I would do essentially exactly what Boogie is doing here. The only difference was that me and my friends were 8 years old. What I would do is when we were making these bets, I would say shit like, oh yeah, dude, I'm totally betting 50K that I'm gonna win this bet. Absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely my bet, trust me. And I would say it, or sometimes type it out like that, to where you can't really tell if I'm being serious or not. If I lost, I would just say, dude, could you not tell I was joking? I wasn't actually betting. Why my friends let me do that, and why I didn't just fucking lie about how much money I made? No idea. I was obviously pretty comfortable with scamming them, so why I took the more advanced route, I'm not sure. But that's basically what Boogie is doing here. He ran this scam, and now that he's getting caught for it, he's like, what? Could you not tell I was joking? You guys are just stupid. It honestly seems like this guy thought that a scam an 8-year-old could come up with was actually gonna get him off the hook. Here's another good one. The joke is that I lost all my money in crypto, and only an idiot would buy my coin. To think you would get rich from my shitty meme coin when it's the pet rock of coins, you would have to be insanely, silly. Thankfully, no one was that dumb, but if they were, you honestly deserve to lose a few bucks for buying the dumbest fucking coin on the planet. This was in response to somebody asking, what's the joke? Again, this is the beauty of the RuneScape scam I came up with as an 8-year-old. Nobody can prove you weren't joking. Of course you weren't joking, because why would you be? You're in a position to make a lot of money if people look past what you're saying, while also building a defense if things don't go the way you planned. Now obviously, it's not a very strong defense, and it's something you would expect a child to think of, but that's the play here. And then one more for the road, because we can all use something to laugh at. I am a people pleaser. It bothers me when people are mad at me, and I tried to fix it. A lot of people pointed out that these people will never be pleased by me, and it's stupid to try. So I'm gonna be brutally honest from from the heart and say the truth. It's a joke coin, a meme coin, the beanie baby of coins. All meme coins are worthless. Everyone knows this. In case you didn't know that, I told you in the video. If you bought a worthless coin after I told you it was worthless, it's either because you are in on the joke or you needed to learn that meme coins are worthless the hard way. Sorry if that was you. I mean, it's almost impressive how incapable this guy is of taking any responsibility for anything he's ever done. It's crazy. Says he's a people pleaser in the same tweet where he's talking about the scam he was running. I mean, come on. But honestly, it's probably just pointless continuing to talk about this. The guy's obviously not going to learn his lesson or take any sort of responsibility for this, and it's not like he has much of a reputation to tarnish anymore, so kind of beating a dead horse. Could we quickly address the elephant in the room though? How if you're falling for crypto scams in 2024, you kinda deserve it. Now look, that's not meant to be a blanket statement, but for stuff like this, come on. If you are involved with the online space enough to know about Boogie2988's fucking meme coin, you should know what stuff like this leads to. That's on you. Like, it's 2024, this has happened hundreds of times at this point. At some point, you've just gotta know better. Now look, I'm not absolving Boogie of any responsibility here. He's obviously the one who got this in front of people. It wouldn't have been possible without him, but the opportunity to make bad choices lands in your lap all the time. You can't always blame the person who put the opportunity there. However, with that being said, it doesn't make it any less immoral or pathetic for Boogie to try and exploit the few fans he has left by trying to get them to buy a shitcoin. Thankfully, like some of these tweets pointed out, I don't think anybody was stupid enough to. It's likely the only people who bought this coin were people who knew exactly what was going on and were trying to make a quick dollar from a pump and dump. At least, you've gotta hope so, right? Well guys, what do you think? Do you think the hate is justified here? Do you think Boogie genuinely thought nobody would buy this coin if he put on this performance? If so, I've got a bridge to sell you. Great price. Like I said, if you really want to dive deep into all of this, I would recommend you go give those two videos I mentioned a watch. This video was really just because I thought it was hilarious Boogie was taking one out of the RuneScape handbook. It truly takes a pioneer to use the haha just kidding defense when it comes to scamming thousands of people. Wouldn't expect anything less, Boogie. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and walk on over to that subscribe button and touch it. It's free. It won't cost you anything. But for now, that's all I have for you today. Bye.